What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Post to Post podcast. My name's Chris Ronan, and with me, as always, is my co-host Matt Small. Did you end up watching that friggin' Super Bowl this weekend, or did you just blow it off?
Just blew it off. Like
Don't even
totally
care, huh?
Don't care.
Greatest athlete of all time playing. Don't care at all. Seventh ring for Tom Brady. Congratulations to him. It's just a feat that I don't think anyone else is going to do. Like, it's incredible.
I'm with you. Like, I love Tom Brady. I love what he did for the New England Patriots and like the whole dynasty and everything, but I just don't care.
But I just think like this is literally like the greatest athlete of all time. I don't think there's any gripe in saying that. Like Gretzky can't keep up, Jordan can't keep up, like you name it.
Right.
Like
I don't hate you for saying it at all. Like I agree with you.
It's just crazy to me that like people just let this go by them and just don't care. It's crazy, dude.
It's cool to hear the story though, like how he left the Patriots and went straight to Tampa, and now he's
Champa Bay. They're calling him now. I think it's going to be the next dynasty. Kind of like Chicago had their run with the Cubs and the Blackhawks. LA had the Kings and the Dodgers. We had all four sports teams for a decade, and I think Champa Bay is next.
For a guy with so many rings on his finger, like you were showing me the video of, he was absolutely hammered.
Yeah,
coming off the boat.
Yeah, he was. He is legless coming off the boat. He threw the trophy from one boat to another. Did you see that? Over the water. Madman. Guy does not care.
Doesn't give a shit.
The first Super Bowl, he's like, I'm so humbled and honored to be here. Now he's like, this is my trophy. This is called the Tom Brady trophy.
That's what happens when you just win all the time. You're like, oh, who gives a fuck? Just give me the ring.
Running out of rings, he's going to have to put one in his forehead like Lil Uzi Vert. Oh, shit. But one thing that isn't going to happen to Tom Brady is he won't be riding the bench, man.
Nope.
Like Patrick Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois. Tortorella's a madman, huh?
Those poor bastards.
Guy does what he wants.
Right.
This is my team.
If you got Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby, you bench them both.
I know, right? So Laine, I mean, not to stay on this for 2 weeks straight, but this is like the big news around the league. Patrick Laine traded to Columbus last week for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who was benched by Tortorella. And now this week, we find out that Laine's benched by Tortorella. It's insane.
It's
So initially when they announced this, it was like, why is he being benched? Like, what did he do now? But it was Tortorella. I don't know if Tortorella came out and said it, but he was disrespectful to one of the assistant coaches, like mouthed off to him or something, right?
I guarantee you it wasn't Tortorella came out because we watched the game. We watched the post-game interview, and he was saying that he didn't really care for even to speak about it. So knowing Torts, he's just like, it's behind us. It's whatever. We'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
But for the rest of the fans like us, like, we want to understand like, why he did it.
Yeah, a lot of this is like I compared in a couple episodes ago, him to Belichick. Like, they keep all their in-house stuff in-house, whereas like the Rangers were super open. Like, all right, we want to sit down and talk about this and talk about Tony DeAngelo as much as we need to right now, and then put it behind us.
I mean, I don't know. Tortorella's.
I think Laine deserved to be benched. And I think it was like a good thing. Like, you mouthing off to an assistant coach.
For sure.
I don't care how many goals he put up for us. Like,
I'm with you on that. Especially in the professional league, man. You don't mouth off to a coach. You don't mouth off to a coach. It puts you in a situation where you don't look good to management. You don't look good to coaches. Being benched for the period. Would you say that's too much? Or I'd say
no, dude. Anton Hudobin, we didn't really want to dive into it. He was benched from his being late to practice. Doesn't matter who you are, man. There's rules.
Yeah.
You're on time for practice.
Right.
You don't talk like a dick to my staff. You know what I mean?
You're right.
That's the way I see it. And Laine, I don't know if it was force fed, but he got out there and he was like, "Yeah, it is what it is." I'm actually happy to see that it doesn't matter who you are on the team. If you do the wrong things, you can be reprimanded for it,
Say we want about Tortorella. I know who's that player that hates Tortorella. We were just talking about him on the other episode.
Yeah, it was Commodore that hates Babcock. Who hates Tortorella?
Oh, it was Babcock.
Right?
I'm mixing both.
Similar coaching styles.
Yeah, but say what you want about Tortorella. I've loved him since he was in New York, man.
Absolutely.
Like he's just a straightforward guy that just says, "Hey, listen, these are my rules. This is how I coach. Do it, or you're not going to play."
And it's kind of crazy too, because these guys have no choice but to buy in. Initially, when he was with the Rangers, it was blocking shots. It's like, oh, it's awesome. These guys are in the playoffs. They're buying in. They're blocking shots. They don't care. Right. But now it's almost become I guess old, where you have to block the shots when Tortorella says to block the shots. It's like, man, I've been doing this 6 years. I'm sick of getting hit with pucks.
I love how we talked about this last week, how Laine was absolutely miserable going in.
He looked it, didn't he?
I loved Laine coming out in the press conference and saying, no, Tortorella's right.
It's cool.
I deserve to be benched.
It seemed sincere and genuine, didn't it?
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's both of them being professional about it and be like, no, I what I did was wrong. My punishment was right.
That's cool.
So
props to them.
Exactly.
That Canes Jackets game was a little wild, though. Did you see the outcome of that?
Oh boy.
So the Hurricanes ended up winning in overtime, correct?
Right.
So you got the analysis there?
So the refs, there was this goal that did not get disallowed. What was it? Second period? It was second period, right?
It was end of the second period. There's a minute and 30 left. Carolina enters the zone, and they were offsides. The refs missed it. It happens. Usually a goal scored, and then when it's challenged or gets reviewed, the goal is disallowed. So a minute and 15 seconds, they score after entering the zone 15 seconds ago.
Right.
They score the goal, and then Tortorella throws the challenge out there because he's like, this guy's blatantly offsides.
Right.
Now, there's a left wing who's close to being offsides. There's a center who's entering the zone, and the right wing is like, what would you say, half a step offside?
Yeah, I mean, it was
very close.
It was very close, but at the same time, it was obvious like he was offside.
So apparently, there was a miscommunication between the video department and the refs. They came back with the answer like way quicker than I expected because the camera angle that they show on TV, you can't really see the right winger. So I think what I see there is they were looking at the left winger. They're like, no, he's clearly onside. Like, it's a good goal. They say good goal. Tortorella challenge. So when you lose a challenge in the NHL, you get a penalty, a 2-minute minor delay a game. A minute and 15, they go on the penalty kill because that's the rest of the period. They come back out for the third, and the refs come up to Tortorella and say, hey, we got that one wrong. The goal stays on the ice. Stays on the board.
Yep.
But we'll take 45 seconds off of your penalty kill. Like, what? It's absurd.
It's such a brutal situation. Like, I don't get. There's got to be a rule in place. Like, we talked about the rule before this saying, like, after the puck is dropped on the next. So, in order to review the play, it has to be at the end of whatever play that was going on.
Exactly. You can't throw a challenge once the next faceoff has been dropped.
Right. So, they went through the play. From what we understand with the refs and everything, is that there was a miscommunication between there's 4 different people looking.
They sent it to Toronto too.
Yeah,
there's like a NHL video department that analyzes it,
and there's just a bunch of people just working through it. And from the refs' perspective, man, it's just like there's a miscommunication with who's looking at what and what's and from what they received was, hey, it's a good goal. You're wrong towards, you're going to be on the 2-minute power play. Oh, sorry, the other team's going to be on the 2-minute power play. But I feel like there's got to be something. I think this is one of those situations where I feel like, how rules have, like, special rules
like
for
a subset, like rule
subset
1A or 1C, right?
If the upper-ups, because this is what it is. It's the upper-ups, like, people that are, like, judging this call. If they make a mistake, I feel like in that situation, the goal should be waved off.
And Tortorella has someone in his ear, too, that's looking at the play and says, throw the challenge flag. We need to do this.
It's not just Tortorella. It's the other assistant coaches saying, no, you're right. Let's wave it off.
And there's they have their own video department is what I'm saying, too. Right. Columbus is like, it's clearly offside. It's like, challenge that,
It's a big challenge, too, because like what you said, man, if you're wrong, you're on a 2-minute power play.
That's a big swing. Coach, and you've been scored on. Because, you know what I mean? You're already dashed 1, and now you go on penalty kill.
So as a coach, that's a big
risk.
It's a big risk. And to do that to your team, I'm sure being torts is just like, no, like, I'm right again. But
he has to be.
It's just a situation. But the worst part was, man, like, all they did was at the beginning of the third period, come up to torts and be like, hey, the rest of the 45 seconds of the power play, you don't have to do it because we're just going to wave it off. I'm like, there's got to be something.
So, in my opinion, there's 3 options here. There's your option, which is there's got to be something for this middle ground. There's option A, or that's option A. We'll call option B is you got to take that goal off the board, right? You know what I mean? Like, you screwed up, you messed up. And there's option C, which I think is honestly what they should have done. In sports, there's screw-ups. The refs, the umpires, whatever you have, mess up from time to time. It's a human sport.
Exactly.
If you messed up, but close out that 2-minute kill.
Right.
Like, make it what it is. Right. You've already screwed up this far. Like, there's no other reason that there's now a delay of game penalty on someone's stats that they now have 1.25 penalty minutes because that's a quarter of a minute.
Right.
Like, what the hell is that? Whoever served that minor penalty is now with 1.25 penalty minutes. What the hell?
And the worst part is, I wouldn't say the worst part is, But like what should happen is, the NHL knows the game of hockey is evolving. And I feel like the rules should evolve with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like these rules are based off of stuff from like way back in the day.
Yep.
Like especially like back to the point where like they can review it. And from the point they can review it up till now, the game's changed. We have so many angles. We're getting the puck tracking. We're getting the player tracking. Like it's evolving. So with that evolving, I feel like this rule is fine. Like I'm not complaining about the rule, but there should be like a subset rule, like as we're talking about, that says, "Hey, in this situation, get rid of that goal." But it is what it is. I think Torts said it best. Is
I think Torts is like, I don't want to be fined again. Just I'm not talking about this. The league will tell you what happened.
It's just a rough situation for him, but. You move on. It's the NHL.
The worst part, dude, is that they lost the game in overtime.
Right.
And if that goal if it's called correctly, I mean, who knows the way the game swings after that? Everything is different, but you take a goal off the board, they're not going to overtime, and they've won the game. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, it's just insane.
Again, it's just rough.
You want to get into the Knights-Kings game next? We got a nice Kings jersey up behind us. Third alternate here.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Back in the day, a little throwback.
Want one of those jerseys, by the way.
Which one?
That
one? You want that one?
Just not that specific one.
Yeah, this one's...
Yeah, that's not that great.
This one's probably $20 at Walmart.
So we're talking about the...
Yeah, Quickie had a rough night against the Vegas Golden Knights the other night, right?
Quick had a rough night. I think I talked about Pettersson or Peterson.
Peterson, yep.
Why do I keep fucking that up? Because there's another
Elias Pettersson, yeah, one of the studs in the league.
So he's been having a rough season, Quickie, and I don't blame him. Like he's another veteran that we talk about that like
he's a lot older than I thought. Remember the episode when I was an idiot and said that Gibson was older than him?
Yeah, and he's not. Yeah,
he's like way younger.
So, Quick had a rough. So here's my opinion on this: is that I know COVID time and everything. We've seen a lot of weird stuff happening in this league, especially goalie wise. We're just like all of a sudden we have these backups for some reason now taking the starting position, and you get the Quick is one of them. He's having a rough time. I think once you get into like that veteran move and you have that swing of things, he's like, this is what I do during the off season. This is what I normally do right before the season starts, and you can't do that with COVID restrictions. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he had the mentality to be like, all right, I got to switch it up. I got to adapt to what's going on. And I feel like this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like he didn't do it. He just he tried his whatever he could to just keep that same routine that he does. But you got these guys. Lankinen, we're going to talk about him next week, is one of those rookie goalies that he just took the starting spot, man.
Yeah, he's like the Merzlikins of last season and like the Binnington of the season before, I think, right?
Right. So you're seeing these goalies come in, just
there's one every season,
They're ready to go. Whether COVID restrictions or not, they're just like they found a way to train even harder than what they were, and they're now taking the starting position. And I think Pettersson might be that guy. I watched what was the Monarchs? Is that what they're called?
Is it Manchester City Monarchs?
Manchester City Monarchs.
I could be entirely wrong.
They did a 30-minute video with Pettersson, trying to explain how he's been throughout like the season and how he was the past few seasons, and he's had a rough go, man. He's like every season, he's just I wouldn't say bad, but I would say just having a rough. What would you say? I'm having a rough go here. It's I wouldn't say a rough career, but I'm just having like a rough. No, Pettersson. So like a rough
patch.
Rough patch. Yeah. Sorry. And.
Okay, so sorry to jump in.
Yeah.
Manchester Monarchs used to be the AHL team for the Kings. It's the same thing with. Remember we talked a couple episodes about like. How now, like, Nashville has their AHL team in Carolina or something like that.
Right.
They reworked all the AHL teams. The Manchester Monarchs are no more. Mm-hmm. The AHL team for LA is the Ontario Reign. So that's the team that Peterson's on.
I have that in my head when you.
But he was probably
on
the Manchester Monarchs.
He could have been, but it's the Ontario Reign, the YouTube channel that I was thinking about. So he was having a rough time, and they were trying to get him to go, and he kept putting down. It's like the ECHL and like all this stuff. So to see him like figure shit out and like become, I won't say starter, but like kind of pushing quick.
I think this is the year for him. Like they played 12 games. That's a quarter of the way through the season, basically. Like we're getting close. They're 3-6-3, which isn't great. So it's a good year to throw him right in there and see what he can do. You know.
There's a few rough. I mean, we're looking at one of his games, and there's a few rough goals that he's let in. I mean, he's still having a rough time. One being what you were saying. Maybe he learned from Quick was the stick. Remember, he was just kind of throwing the stick at.
Yeah, I think you said that he's opening up his blocker palm and chucking the stick out to try and make saves. Desperation
instead of getting his pad and like his body out there. And I think that's one thing he might be learning from Quick that he should stop because Quick is definitely one of a kind there. Like you can't.
He practices that.
You can't copy him. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't copy Quick. Quick is again one of a kind, just like Marty Brodeur. Like you can't copy Marty Brodeur because Marty Brodeur is Marty Brodeur, and I think Pedersen needs to work on that. But he has taken the starting position off of Quick, which so in that game he came in. What was it? 3-0, 4-0?
Yeah, 3-0. I think going into the second, and I don't know if Peterson came in the start of the second. Like that's what I think would have been done, but it might have been a 4-0 because they ended up losing 5-2. I think.
I think 5. I mean, they.
So I think Peterson only let up one,
or something like that.
Maybe two,
1
something.
or 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in this game, it was February 5th game against the Knights. So we talked about this last week about cold goalies and how coming in, it just the other team looks at it and be like, all right, we're gonna just roof it on them the entire night. And we talked about not the backup goalies not getting a couple shots in just to warm them up, which I agree with him. But Pedersen came in this week and kind of just proved us wrong. He came in ready to go. He stood on his head. I don't know if it's because he's been starting this whole time that he's just ready to go, or just
another aspect we don't even consider is practice. Like how much time he's putting in the rink off the ice, like maybe he's hot in practice and warm-ups, things like that.
Right, exactly. Like what about warm-ups with this guy that says, there's got to be something mental for him, especially that says, hey, I know I'm benching tonight, but
I mean, if
the situation comes, let me actually do a good warm-up.
As good as we think Peterson's being, they're on a 5-game losing streak, so I don't think Quick's played 5 games straight and lost. He's been in there, he's been losing too.
Right.
The Kings aren't so hot this season. They're at the bottom of the barrel. I'm a pretty big Kings fan. I'm not really like a fan of any one team around the league.
No.
But if I had to, I guess like pick my top 3, I'd say Vegas, I'd say San Jose, and then I guess LA. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really
West, huh, buddy?
I don't know. I'm not really huge on any one team in particular either. It's just I buy their stuff.
Yeah,
is how I look at it.
I'm the same way. I'm not that hometown guy where just like it's all Bruins from our perspective. Like I'm all over the place.
I do have a nice collection of Bruins jerseys though. I think I showed you. I have a St. Patty's Day one and a Men's Health Awareness one.
Right.
I have a camo Kings jersey too.
I have been trying so hard to get a Carey Price like jersey, like Canadians jersey.
Oh, you should have got the Winter Classic one. Those are sharp. The white and powder blue. He didn't even play that game.
He didn't.
In Gillette.
And that's exactly what I showed my girlfriend.
Those are nice.
This week, and she was like, "No."
Yeah, you talked about that before. She's like,
Canadians
"You can't get it.
jerseys,
Once he's traded, you can get it."
And so but
never.
I want that jersey. It's so sick. She goes, "Why don't you get like Team Canada Carey Price?" I'm like,
"What's the difference?"
The same.
But what's the difference? Why is that okay, but the Canadians one isn't?
I don't know.
Canada's Canada.
She wears like Canada stuff, like Team Canada stuff.
Yeah.
She goes, it's because of the Montreal Canadiens. Like, I don't want you wearing anything Montreal Canadiens. I'm like, I respect that, but at the same time, I want it.
Sticking to the Vegas Golden Knights who were playing the Kings the other night, you want to dive into Fleury a bit?
Yeah, we'll dive into Fleury for a bit. So, Fleury, I think I've talked about this
Oh my God, Fleury! You have such a nice smile.
Fleury's the reason why I wear 29. And I don't know.
Which is awesome. I respect it.
Yeah, Fleury's one of my idols, man. He's such a great guy on and off the ice. There's so many videos that I've watched of him off the ice and like interviews and stuff where I'm just like, this guy is like...
He's like so down to earth, but at the same time, he's the most professional pro out there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
I'm trying to remember. What was the best I could do for you? Is like 300. What are those guys?
Car salesman?
No. You know those guys? It's a TV show. Oh my God, they're in like Las Vegas, and people try to like be like, "Oh, I have this guitar signed by."
Yeah.
And the best I could do is like $5.
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's right.
I think that's it.
And there's this. They had the episode where they got Fleury in, like one of the fat dudes that was in there, just like
Chumley.
Chumley, yeah. Fleury.
I love that name, dude. The dude just looks like a Chumley too. He's got like goatee, like long black hair. He's like,
So
Chumley.
What a name. So some guy came in with when the Vegas Golden Knights just came to be in the NHL.
No way.
He had a Marc-Andre Fleury signed jersey, and this is when that's kind of like there's no way because
it's a fake.
It's a fake. So he's like, all right, give me 1 second and meet me at the rink. So they met at the rink, and he goes, "This is a buddy of mine," and Fleury comes in.
That's cool.
He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" Shook his hand or whatever. He goes, "Is this your signed jersey?" He goes, "Yeah, looks like mine." And he goes,
"No way."
Yeah. And so
it probably still was a fake.
Yeah, probably was a fake.
Oh, it looks like my signature.
Whatever, you're good. Yeah. And so I got Chumley into like goalie gear, just like fat.
No way.
Fucking into goalie gear.
Was Fleury shooting on him?
Fleury was shooting on him.
He's
right?
a good player, man. Like he could play out if he needed to.
He could. And so Fleury was shooting on him, and he gloved the puck. And Fleury goes over and be like, hey, you got to windmill it, make them know that they didn't score on you. I'm like, oh, God, I love this guy so much.
One thing that I'd love to see in the NHL that's never happened, I don't think, is a goalie play out in the league. That would be so cool.
That'd be crazy.
Because there's been like Dustin Byfuglien who started
from like defense to forward.
Yeah, he started his career as a forward and was able to bounce back and play a defensive game.
Goalie to...
He could play defense. Like you could play goalie to defense, I think. That's where I tend to go.
Right. There's so many goalies like that too. And I'm one of those I don't want to say rare, but I'm one of those, little percentage of goalies that haven't played anything other than
man.
goalie.
I think a lot of goalies, like later down the line, are like, man, screw this. Like they get the itch to play out, and once they do it, they're like, it's way better out here. Yeah. And they just stay out there. It's funny.
But this is all I've done, so it's just like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But Fleury is still, my idol here. But it was cool as shit to see. Speaking about jerseys, there was a signed jersey. There's a COVID-19 fundraiser in Las Vegas, and someone won it. And Fleury took the jersey and goes, the guy lives like 20 minutes away from me. And the guy in the house had a camera set up.
Like the Ring doorbell or something.
The Ring doorbell set up. And he catches like Fleury just kind of like walking up casually, just like, drops the
my thing is,
signed jersey.
There's no way that the dude was home. Like, imagine being like, no, Fleury dropped it off. I could have met him.
Yeah. So he's just cool as shit. So one thing Fleury does that I did want to talk about was in every game that I've seen so far,
Me too.
is that when Las Vegas scores, like Fleury's almost loving being benched. Like, I think he loves seeing Robin Lehner become this goalie that he should be. And I think that mentality right there is one of the reasons why I do love Fleury, man, because he's just like, no, man, like, he still has his reign in the NHL, but he's like, no, Robin Lehner is like well deserving of what he's got going on here. Now let me be with the team. So like when Las Vegas scores, if you ever pay attention, like the camera will point to the bench, and if you ever like look, it's Fleury in the middle of the bench with like the rest of the players like celebrating with everyone with like the mask.
He's what my old Instagram handle used to be, grocery stick goalie. You know what a grocery stick is?
No.
At the supermarket, you put the grocery stick between your order and the next person's.
Oh yeah.
When you're a grocery stick player, it's usually a player, it's not usually a goalie, but he's being a grocery stick goalie right now, which was my handle. Mm-hmm. You sit on the bench and you separate the forwards from the defensemen.
So I kept seeing that, and I wrote it down for this week to talk about, and it was because I think it was an Islanders goalie.
Sorokin and Varlamov, right?
So I took a screenshot of it. I'll try to put it right here for you guys to see. But like the bench is like right here, and like there's like a little dark alley, and like all you see is like the backup, which I think is Sorokin just sitting there like in the
mask
dark,
on,
just, like,
right?
by himself.
There's one rink too where the backup goalie has to sit across from the benches where the penalty boxes are. It's
and
weird.
Like in the nowhere. I think I think Washington's like that too, because I've seen photos of it's right in where like the Zamboni is.
Yeah.
Because I've seen photos of like Hopi and Rask just kind of chilling with each other.
Yeah. Dude, one thing about the West right now too, crazy. I didn't even realize this. Vegas is running away with the West right now, and LA is at the bottom. LA 3-6-3, which I mentioned. Mm-hmm. Vegas 8-1-1, and then from there, every team has between 5 and 7 wins, so it's kind of close in the West right now. Like anybody could jump up and take it,
West
which is crazy.
Vegas has always been good, man. Like since
out the gate, I think it's the way they set up the expansion draft, which is awesome.
Right.
And I think I talked about it on an episode. I think that they're looking at changing it for when Seattle comes in because of how good Vegas has done. But I really hope they don't. Like, you need to give the expansions a shot so they get a fan base like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And they soared, man. I still remember talking shit about Vegas. I'm like, the fuck does
I bought
Vegas...
this hat like before the season started. The second that
you were pumped about Vegas before I was. I'm like, God, they're just gonna be a shit.
We never touched back on the Vegas flu either. Before COVID, there was something called the Vegas flu, and the Knights went to the Cup Finals that year. And the Vegas flu is real, man. Like, I think these teams go to Vegas and they're like the first season at least, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, we'll go to Vegas. We're going to party for a bit. And they go party. They show up to the game and they're hungover. They suck. They're up all night. Like, you know what I mean? So Vegas just sounds like, oh, they're like licking their chops. They're like, yeah. Come on over, baby. Home game's where it's at.
I did want to get back to Fleury. So... Again, what I was talking about with him being in the middle of all the celebrations, I was looking at that and I'm like, it might be just a Fleury thing, but like I feel like more, especially backup goalies, I feel like they should do that more often. Not in a sense of like Fleury, but I feel like they should be with the team more often instead of being like,
they are separated, you know. But they work the door and like, you know,
they're just like, But I feel like especially as a goaltender, I feel like it should be more like. Especially in the NHL, AHL, and stuff like that, be more like a family and say, "Hey, I'm with you guys. I'm celebrating with you guys. You know, let's do this together."
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think they are that off the ice. Like, why can't they be that right there? You know?
I thought about that too, and I'm like, I don't know if that's like management. Is management coaches like, "Hey, sit there, like, don't say anything," or is it just?
I don't know.
Is Fleury getting like that pass?
I don't think it's ever like by choice. It's kind of just like. It is what it is. This is how it is. I say that every episode. I got to stop with that. It is what it is.
It's just what it is.
I can't stand that phrase.
I love it.
I love it so much.
It's just what it is.
But it's not, because look at Fleury changing things. It is what it is the most correct and the least correct statement of all time.
Right.
Because it is what it is, but you can always change it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I like your mentality with this.
You like that?
Your mentality.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because it is correct if you do nothing about it, and it's not correct if you change it, you know?
You're right.
So, yeah.
You're right.
All right. You want to move on to the Capitals and look at their carousel in the net?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's kind of crazy. You want to dive into Craig Anderson?
Yeah, so Craig Anderson showed his face for the first time this year with the Capitals. Did not look well at all. He's a 39-year-old that signed a one-year contract worth $700K.
League minimum.
League minimum, which is...
he was taxi squad initially, wasn't he? And now with Samsonov,
he was
down
taxi
for
squad
a bit?
Eventually. Yeah, I remember when the
Lundqvist went out.
I remember when Lundqvist went out, and they were trying to freak out. They were kind of freaking out, like what to do. And then I saw Craig Anderson up as a tryout.
Oh, PTO. Yep.
PTO, and I was confused. And then at the same time, they were doing, I think it was on Twitch. It was on YouTube, like their YouTube channels. They were showing like the scrimmage games, and they had Craig Anderson, and you know, you could tell he was trying, but at the same time, like, as a 39-year-old goalie, man, like we thought Jimmy Howard was old, man, and he retired at 36. For a 39-year-old goalie, holy shit! Like, this good dude should be either like full-blown retired or just doing beer league. So I can't say shit really about Craig Anderson. But the fact that he's still in the league, he's still, you know, out there really trying to keep everything going, you know, big praise for him. But I feel like this is this is it. I feel
So,
like after this season,
on the
so-
Capitals now, we've seen Lundqvist, who didn't end up playing, but we had him as like the starter. We've had Samsonov starting the season.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Vanacek take the spotlight. We've had Copley come up as a backup, and we've had Anderson play a game. So that's 5 different goalies. Like,
Right.
that's insane
They're
that the
just
Caps have just like
trying to figure shit
just
out.
rolling through them, man. It sucks. I think they got a lot to look at there, you know?
I think if you take Vanacek's the way to go.
I think so, too.
Um,
And Samsonov as the backup once.
I'm glad to see
He's back.
it was this week, right? Henrik Lundqvist came out. He was in New York, and he came out on Instagram
Yeah.
saying the heart surgery went well. He's doing well, so, especially for the Cap's sake and everyone's sake, I hope he has a speedy recovery.
I imagine that he won't be back, though. Like, that's something that
That's
probably
something-
can't push
That's
yourself,
something
you know?
huge.
Yeah.
I think we might hear something about him in practice and stuff. Like,
no way. They're probably like, dude, if you go play hockey, your heart's going to explode.
Well, we don't know that.
Oh my
Maybe he
God.
comes back. Maybe he pushes for like a few practices or whatever, and then I don't know. Let's say I hope he comes back because I really hope he does.
I mean,
but
for like his own health and safety, I
own
hope he
health.
doesn't. I hope he just retires, takes it easy, man. Like, relax a bit. You had a great career. Like,
he had a
it
great
sucks
career.
the way you had to go out, but
Right. I still think
dude,
about that
you can't
Martinez
risk
goal.
yeah.
Man, that was brutal.
Yeah.
That hurt to watch. I'm like, LA, man. Like,
I wanted LA that season because I wanted the Devils to go to the finals, and then I wanted the Devils to win.
oh, really?
Yeah, because I remember the Rangers beating them in the semis, in the
Interesting.
conference, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
man. I was rooting Rangers that entire time, and then Martinez with that goal, man. I'll always remember that. I'm like,
That was an awesome,
and then you'd
awesome
just,
win.
You'd
I mean,
watch Lundqvist
for
just
me-
like face down and
Yeah.
like the ice. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god.
Well, sticking to the Caps here, I have a couple crazy stats that popped up this week. Ovechkin recently passed Mike Gardner for 7th all-time in goals. He has 711 goals as of tonight, which is Thursday the 11th. Wayne Gretzky is first with 894. So he's 183 behind Gretzky, but Gordie Howe's only 90 away. You think he can do
Cordy
it?
Fucking how?
You think he can do it?
Yeah.
Like,
he can
that's
do
2 50-goal seasons between... actually, we have a shortened season this year.
it. Right.
So, what do you think? Do you think he can get it done coming to second? I mean, honestly, the gap is huge. It's 894 Gretzky, 801 Howe, and 766 for Yager. So, from 711 to 766, that's 55 goals. Like,
It's so funny hearing Yaga's name in there because he's still
he's a
fucking
legend,
playing.
dude. He's so fit and just insane, dude. He's an athlete
It's insane.
through and through.
Because you're like, oh, what? Especially for like non-hockey fans, like Yaga is like, where's he?
He played in
dead?
the
I'm like,
90s,
no,
too.
he's still playing. He's still banging broads half his age. Like,
He is, dude. He's a madman. Did you
Yeah.
ever see the picture that there was a story? I think it was a picture that they put up, but the caption was the story. And it was him rolled over, just his mullet, and he's like half asleep. And the broad's got like the sheet up, covering herself up.
Yep.
And she took a picture of him sleeping in the bed next to him, whatever. And she's like, "You're going to give me $10,000 or I'm going to tweet this out."
He's like, go
and
ahead.
he said, "Go ahead. I don't care. I'm not giving you $10,000. Get out of here."
I fucking
Absolute
love him.
savage,
I
dude.
love
I
him,
love
man.
it. So funny.
So good. You see his locker at all? Like his
In the Czech League?
yeah, man. Like if you look at his locker, you don't have to look it up, but like if you look at his locker, man, he's got like some weird shit in there, like a huge cross and like the Virgin Mary.
He's
and,
religious. That's not weird.
Like, well, he's got like some other shit in there too, like some like Russian energy drink. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Well, he's in the Czech
Corona
League.
something. I'm like,
He's in the Czech
Jesus.
League.
Yeah, I drink whatever, I guess. Yeah.
Probably
Like,
gassed
holy
up, dude. Gassed up to the nines. He's probably in peak condition right now because he's just juicing.
So did you hear Russian gas?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
A real thing, dude.
I didn't even know
Insane.
that was a thing.
Insane.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Another crazy stat that popped up this week. Patrick Marleau has passed Jaromir Jagr, actually, to be third all-time in games played with 1,734, which is huge, dude.
Huge.
Gordie Howe is number one with, get this, only 1,767. So that's another 33 more games to tie him. So 34 to pass him. He could get that done this season.
Right.
If he doesn't get benched or injured, like, Marlowe's going to be all-time leader in games played.
Not nuts. If you're like a San Jose Sharks fan, you know that. But like from like any other team perspective, you're like, Marlowe's been in the league for that long.
Yeah, for sure. Because Thornton's not right behind him, but he's the next active player with 1641, which is almost 100 games short. But get this, the only other active player in the top 25 for goals scored is Marlowe. He's got 562. It's Ovechkin and Marlowe are the only two active players in the top 25 for goals scored in the league.
That is nuts, man.
So they're just like climbing the leaderboards this season. Like,
good for him.
Marlowe can jump into probably 20th spot or 21st spot. He's got 15 goals to pass Recchi for the 21st spot.
Wow, holy shit.
Right?
Problem is, I think Marlowe looks better than Ovechkin. Ovechkin's like really starting to like look his age.
No, you think so? No way, dude. Ovechkin.
You see all the gray hair and shit.
Oh,
from
the gray hair.
Ovechkin?
No, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
He looks it physically, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But so does Yager, I guess.
I mean, like, I don't know how to explain this better. He looks it, but physically performing and
fuck
physical
no.
fitness,
Physically
he's still
wise,
there.
no.
Yeah.
Ovechkin can still go for like another fucking at least 7 seasons. He's got it. He's got that
think
Russian.
so?
He's got that Russian blood.
He's got
in
the
him.
Russian gas. That's what
He's
it
got
is.
the Russian gas in him. What? Hey, while we're talking about the Russian machine never breaks. Who said that?
It was Chara in an All-Star game tripped Ovechkin. Did I say this on the show already?
Oh, it was Ovechkin.
He tripped
You said it. I
Ovechkin,
can't remember what it
and
was.
Chara's like, "Oh my God, sorry, are you okay?" Ovechkin gets up. He says, "Russian machine never breaks." In the All-Star game, hilarious, dude. That's awesome.
You gotta love Ovi. Gotta love him.
Man. Let's circle back to Columbus real quick, actually.
Okay.
I think Kachuk and Stützle are the best bromance in the league I've seen since Bobrovsky and Foligno. Remember that back in the day? Foligno used to jump into Bob's arms. So funny.
There was a this is way back in the day when like you couldn't really hear like players, like they weren't mic'd up or anything. And there was a the Jay on right, he goes Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
They must have known about it too, because Bobrovsky would win and Foligno would come up and be like, they'd both be like Bobrovsky,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like hanging.
But dude, there's pictures like at least every week they were coming out. Bobrovsky's skating like from his net towards the bench, and Foligno's already jumped into his arms, and Bob's holding him. So his legs are literally like over his arms. It's hilarious, man. But talk about a fall from grace for Bobrovsky, huh?
Holy shit!
Just
man.
got paid
Is he
$10 million.
Fucking bad.
10 mil, and now I'm going to sit on my ass in Florida and basically retire. But you got to pay me for what, 10 years?
10 years.
I think it's 10 years, 10 mil. And he has had
The Rick DiPietro move.
The worst stats I've seen for a goalie making that kind of money, making that kind of move. Columbus, he was a stud. He's won two Veznas? Two Veznas.
2 Vs.
He got the Calder Memorial Trophy in his rookie year.
Right, that's
And
back
now
in
he's just
2010.
awful, man. These numbers are terrible. And do you think Columbus is that much better of a defensive team than Florida?
No, here's the problem. I think so. Bobrovsky came out fucking running in Philly, and he was with Philly for 2 years before going to Columbus, and then kind of just rode the wave with Columbus.
No, dude, he was hot in Columbus.
No, that's what I'm saying. He
Oh,
rode the
okay,
wave,
yeah.
he was just-
Rode the wave in a
just
good way.
stored with him,
I
yeah.
thought you meant like coasted. Just
No.
Yeah.
But coasting in a good way, just like, hey,
He stayed up there.
He stayed up there, yeah. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. Was it Tortorella that who was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here? Was that it?
Oh, that could be another aspect of it. He was UFA and went to Florida and signed big bucks. That's what it was. That's
Right.
how he left there. But that could be another aspect of it. I'm not going to re-up with Columbus. I mean, the Russian guys wanted out of Columbus. Remember Panarin went to New York?
Right. Who was the other? Now we're talking about this. I remember who's the other Columbus player that went with Bobrovsky? Because remember they talked about. I think it was NHL Network or someone talked about. There was him and someone else were caught down in Florida, talking to just. I think they were discussing something.
They were buying houses.
Buying houses.
Weren't they trying
or
to buy a
something like
house?
that. I think something like that, and I think they were saying. I think they're talking to Florida Panthers about like a trade or like sign or anything. I can't remember who it was.
I don't either, but I remember it because
you know what
Bobrovsky
I'm
was
talking
house
about?
shopping down that way.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think it was a Columbus player, but I think it was another big name that they didn't necessarily go to Florida, but they were shopping houses there too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, this is another case of. Would you say another case of Matt Murray where?
I think it's a different scenario where Columbus didn't sell high like Pittsburgh did on Murray.
Right.
Because it wasn't a trade. Bobrovsky walked. I think it's Bobrovsky. I mean, this sounds like, I guess, a little racist, but like the Russians, like, they want their money and they want to go to a good market. I
Right.
mean, like, Columbus isn't
Why
great.
wouldn't you?
Florida's not great, but I mean, you get to live and you get
think
$10 million.
Russian, you think just grade A player?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you signed a Russian? All right, you're gonna win.
Yeah,
the
like
job.
look at Shesterkin and Georgiev. Is Merzlikin's Russian? No, right?
Merzlikins is
Czech?
Czech, I think. Yeah, I think it's Czech.
Yeah,
or Finnish or Czech.
But like those Euros, man, they're outstanding.
Unbelievable. Those Russians, man, they come out of the womb with skates on. Like they're just ready to go.
Russian machine never breaks.
Russian machine. It sucks to see, man. Like I love Bobrovsky. I always say the Jay Onrait stuff, like Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
But like
the highlights from back in the day were unreal.
Well, unbelievable. Just great goalie, man. And for some reason, just hit Florida, and that was it. And I don't see why. I honestly don't see why, because this year and the previous year that he was in, Florida's become one of those teams that just like they're really rising up.
They're getting there, man.
They're getting there. So I don't see why Bobrovsky's having such a hard time.
They're 7-1-2, and it's not Bobrovsky that's doing it for them. It's Streeter.
It's Streeter's doing it.
Yeah.
There was this goal that happened this week that I didn't talk about, but I'm just remembering now that Bobrovsky was so out of position. I don't know what the fuck he was doing at all. Like he came out like way out of position to where he was, lifted up his armpit basically, and just let the puck go through it. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like back in the day, you'd be so in position
Lights
that
out.
puck would have like no chance in hell of like going through. So I don't know what's going on. I feel like the league, I feel like the Florida Panthers organization, I think needs to be like step in and be like, hey, listen.
They need to. There's no other option.
No.
I'm gonna have you transition from Bobrovsky to Varlamov though. Because he's Russian too. Go into the Islanders Rangers and I'll be back.
So he's getting so comfortable doing it. It's almost uncomfortable. Where just like I think he does this every episode now, where he just goes. I think I was doing the editing for the last episode, and when doing it, I can hear me. I'm watching me talk. And then I realized Chris isn't fucking in his spot. He's just gone and like getting a beer and stuff. And here I am, just talking. So I guess this is my time to talk. So anyway, let's get into it. So the Islanders versus Rangers on February 8th. Varley, man. I've always loved Varley since the Caps. I remember we were just talking about the Caps, and he came up to the Islanders and still crushed it, man. I loved his style. I love his positioning. Just a great goalie. He's had a few rough seasons, both with Islanders and with the Caps. But great goalie altogether. I really want to see him explode. I know he's one of those goalies that can be one of the greatest. I wouldn't say one of the greatest, but one of the best in the league. At least top 15, 10. I might be pushing it, but Varley did stand big. He had a 30-save shutout. Varley was doing what I was talking about last episode with 10 seconds left in the game. The Rangers are on the power play, and Chris Kreider, same guy who we were talking about last week with Casey DeSmith in front of him, is in front of Varley, and Varley's hacking away at his legs and making it difficult for Kreider to sit just in front of him. Which is why it's not just up to the D to take that guy, but it's also up to the goalies to help out, not just the defenseman, but himself as well. And that goes against what you were talking about last episode, where you're like, no, it's all up to the D to get that guy in front of him. I'm like, no, it's up to the goalie to really get in there. When we were talking about Casey DeSmith last week, it's really up to the goalie to get in there and be like, hey, listen. And,
I still disagree strongly.
But you disagree, but after you said that, I was watching like Eli Wilson, Future Pro Goalie School, John Elkins.
I don't think any of them are telling you to take your swing and take your stick and slash the dude in the legs.
Not slashing them, but like get in there and be like, really poke at him, make it difficult for like them to stand in front of you is what they're saying. Like it's your job to do it.
I want to see that clip.
All right, I'll show you.
I just think it's your job to look around the screen and don't get caught up doing that because you get scored on, not in the professional level, right, but in our level and below NHL. You get caught up doing that, and then you're not paying attention to the puck, and the puck ends up in the back of your net.
I think it comes with repetition, though. I feel like you don't get caught up. It's just like a thing that you do. That's just get on top of them, kind of push them to the side. Put the blocker on them, keep pushing them. That's what I do, man. Like if I know this is just beer league, but sometimes like when you're up playing like AB level, man, like there's guys that like play college that just like will get on top of you, and a lot of times like if they're on top of me screening me, I'll block a punch them, man. Like I'll get this stick onto this stake, onto this skate.
If a player came up to you and punched you with their glove, you would go nuts.
It's happened.
You would go nuts. Though.
It's happened to me.
That's fine. You went nuts. Yes or no?
Depending on what I did, like if
he would do it after you block or punch him. I'm saying if a player decided to stand near your crease and just punch you, you would go nuts. You're like, why the hell did you do that?
Hey, I'm a goalie. You can't touch me.
That's dumb. I'm not for it.
I'm all for it.
Disagree.
I'm all for it.
Strongly.
I like how we disagree on this, but I will show you.
We disagree on everything.
I will.
It's just how it is.
I will show you the video.
I do want to see that.
Okay, I will show you
from all three of those guys because you said all three groups have a video of doing it.
Yep. I'll show you. I'll show you, especially Future Pro. I can't remember his name at all. Future Pro Goalie School. He was pretty much showing you how to fucking hack the skates and really get in front of them.
I did one. This is going back a bit. But the dude was like in my paint, and I was telling him like, stay out of my crease, and he was getting into it with me. Right, the best move in the world is you put your stick behind one of their skates, and just get like right behind the actual skate and just kick it with your pad.
Yep.
You just kick it once, very light, and the whole skate comes out from under them. And they bust their ass. I'm like, that's why you don't step on the blue paint.
Right. Oh man, we're gonna talk about this next episode.
We'll talk about sneak peek for next week. We're gonna be talking about our playing history, where we played, all that type of stuff, and we're also gonna do a Chicago Blackhawks review, which a fan asked us to break down. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, look at me. It was interesting that fucking Detroit breakdown. It was brutal. I was literally like forcing myself to be like, all right, what's the positives here? Like, there's just nothing.
You didn't say anything positive.
There's nothing positive.
Pretty brutal.
And I think that's what the fans and I think, Detroit needs to fucking listen to is like, there's nothing positive coming for this. You guys need to fucking get your shit together. But for Chicago, Chicago will be
Chicago's on the upswing. We'll talk about it next week, though.
Next week.
One thing that closed up for us, Ron Hextall is now the GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, yeah.
And Brian Burke is the president of hockey operations. What do you think about
that? Love it. All I can think of is Ron Hextall as a Philly goalie just slashing away at the Pittsburgh players, and they're just like,
fighting
you'd
them.
Be a great GM for us.
Oh, you want to come work for us, pal?
Come work for us? I know you killed half our players, but I think it'd be great.
Yeah, the Brian Burke named president too. You had a couple clips that you really liked of his, some like animated shorts or something, right?
So it's on Sportsnet. I might put a in the description. I might put the link for it, but it's on Sportsnet. They call it Hey Berkey, and he talks about what it's like to be a player, an NHL player back in like the 70s, and it's
just a lawless wasteland.
Lawless. They talk at one point. He said, they said, "What do you want for beer?" And he goes, "I don't know. I'll do what everyone else is doing." So he goes, "All right, it's $3 for 2 packs of six
six-packs, yeah.
2 6-packs."
And they ended up having like a pallet of beer on the bus.
They had an absolute pallet of beer on the bus with like ice on top, and he was explaining that if you need to go to the bathroom or in the back, you need to walk on top of the seats.
So like seat railings
just
or something,
to get
right?
through there. And he goes, by the time we got from point A to point B, the beer was gone. At one point, he said they had a 10 o'clock in the morning skate, and at the end, there were like 2 of these players, both goalie and like the captain. They came in with like cups like these filled with ice, and they grabbed whiskey, and like all of them are just like drinking whiskey at fucking like 11:30 in the morning.
God. Dude, imagine, we got to do that once through this. Like, we got to rent a party bus and go to like Montreal. I've never been. You've been. Like, just a party bus with a bathroom and load it up with the guys and just fill it up with beer.
That's going to be so fucking fun.
Oh, my God. Imagine drinking for 8 hours on a bus ride to Montreal. That'd be awesome.
For a Montreal Bruins game, I'd fucking do it.
Yeah. And even if we stay for like a long weekend and take the party bus back or something,
And Toronto's right there too, and I feel like we should go over to Toronto because Toronto's one of my favorites. I was telling you,
if I have a nice zip. Imagine if we could do like it doesn't have to be a Bruins game, but like go to a Montreal game on like a Friday, have Saturday to chill, go to Toronto on a Sunday, take Monday off, and drive back Monday on the party bus.
Even if the Bruins like aren't playing, it'd be like Toronto versus
anyone.
Ottawa
I don't care.
Or whatever. It'd be like, let's fucking go there. I think that'd be a hell of a trip. I'd love it, dude. I was telling you, if I ever moved to like another country, or whatever, Toronto is really up there.
There you go.
One of the places.
That's cool.
But these stories are hysterical because it really makes me wonder. It really makes me want to live in like the 70s. The guys who I work with we're just like, dude, the 70s, 60s was a fucking, like we said, like a lawless wasteland. Like, you could do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Dude, I tell you what, I could not have made it in the show back then. They just beat the crap out of each other. If you haven't watched before, like, I literally just had my eyes open to it like 2 years ago. You watch highlights from back in the day, dude. They do one thing, and it's a penalty nowadays. They are literally just, like, lacrosse slashing each other in the arms anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they would, like, cross-check in the face. Like, crazy stuff, man.
Slapshot, although you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
That's fucking insane to me.
I don't watch movies at all.
I brought a Hanson jersey with me tonight. I was going to wear it, and then you knew the jersey.
Then it was negative 10 down here, so you were like, I got to wear a jacket.
Yeah, I got to wear a jacket. It's fucking freezing down here. But I wore that, and then we're talking about how you didn't watch Slapshot, and I'm like, holy shit. And Slapshot's one of those where, like, it really shows...
what the 70s, 80s
what the
were
70s,
like,
80s were like. You know, they're just... I don't think it went too crazy, but it really showed, man, like... The lockers were shit. Like, people in the locker room were just smoking and bleeding all over the place.
And there's no planes, really, right? They were busting everywhere?
They were busting everywhere, and everyone's drinking, gambling on the bus.
So are the Chiefs like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the football team now?
The Chiefs... I wish I could tell. I was
fucking with you, because they're called the Chiefs. But the football team's called the Chiefs too. So I said, are those hockey guys now the Kansas City football team?
You never know. I'm just fucking kidding you.
Okay, good. You got me. You got me back, man. Shit, I got baited.
He does that shit to me all the time.
Fell for my own joke.
Fuck, yeah.
All right, move on. Yeah. You want to talk about Juicy Cyrus's equipment?
Yeah. So, for all of you gear sluts like I am, and not you, because
don't care. I don't
understand. How the fuck are you a goalie? You don't care about gear. That doesn't make shit sense to me. So, last game, UC Saros played. He actually switched from his CCM Access gear to his E-Flex 4s. And I'm sitting there wondering why. The only difference I could see is the Access has the... I don't have a photo. I think
we'll slap it up. The flat front face like the Bowers have, right?
Right. Yep. They have the flat front face, and the E-Flex 4s have the knee rolls on there. The flat face and the knee rolls both different help with rebound control. The knee rolls is what I've been using this entire time. Really helps with rebound control. Where the flat face, if a shot comes to your pad, that flat face is gonna throw your puck to like the side.
Yep.
Whereas the knee rolls, if it hits there, it's gonna bounce right in front of you to cover it up. And I've been using knee rolls since I think the Premier 2's Freebach and high school is the last flat face, and then I switched over to Vaughn with the knee rolls and just haven't changed at all. But I watched, looking at that, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because he's already been 7 games already. So I don't know if it was just like maybe he liked it at first, and then after a while, like there was a few shots where he was like, oh, the E-Flex 4s didn't do this to me, but he switched back. Now, did you ever have, what new equipment did you have that, you tried and then you're like, oh, I got to go back to this?
So I literally couldn't tell you the name of the brand because that's how little I care. It's basically like once I get new pads, I have new pads and I'm happy. But no, that's not an option to me. Like, you buy the new gear. I mean, in the NHL, it's entirely different. Like, I totally respect it. I get it. He can do what he wants. But for me, a broke beer league goalie, you get new pads and like, no, I'm going to adapt, I'm going to overcome, and these are going to be my pads. Mm-hmm. You just got to get used to them. That's how I do it. I mean, I'm not holding anything against anyone that does otherwise, but that's just my mentality is these are the pads that I bought. This is the decision I made. Get used to it.
See, I'm totally different. I told you about the pads. I was at the Norwood Goalie Monkey there. It was during the summertime. I can't remember why the fuck I was there. I think I was there for a stick. And this is when my V5s, my Vaughn V5s were kind of going out of style there. Like, they're really breaking down. And I was really looking into, like, getting, like, I think the V8s at the time, but the V7s were there. And some guy just absolutely sold me on a set of V7s with the blocker and glove. To this day, that's one of my favorite gloves. But it was $600 for that whole set. And I just pretty cheap. I could not say no at all. But I tried them out at least 3 or 4 times, and I hated them so fucking much that I had to go back to my V5s. And now those V7s are just sitting there that we're going to put right here for everyone to see. But
who knows? Maybe when I go back, I'll take them from you. I'll give you $80 for them.
All right. They're the ones with the sliding toe bridge.
Yeah.
Nico Koskinen I was talking about. Those are the pads. That was the reason why I was trying to figure them out, because it was crazy. And the boot was so stiff that I actually tried going back. I tried switching it out to like my toe ties, like the regular laces, and they were so stiff that it wouldn't bend. So like my ankles would fucking kill.
Oh yeah.
So like I was like, oh okay, I understand the
sliding
toe bridge now, but I fucking hated it.
So one thing that I think with like Monkey Sports and these places, they have shooting ranges, shooting galley. Is it galley or gallery? It's shooting galley, right?
Galley, yeah, galley. Right?
So they have like shooting galleys where you can like test out player sticks and mess around and like decide what you want to buy. There's got to be a way for them to have like that, but for goaltending equipment, and keep like not a brand new set, but like here's our set of Vaughn whatever what'd you say, V4s? Is that a thing? Yeah, sure. E-Flex 4s, CCM Axis. Like we just take one set and that's the trial set, so people can show up, dress up, try them on, see how they like them before they leave, and then understand like what they're working with.
So that's the problem with goalie gear too, man. Like you don't try it out, and if you don't like it, return them, because once you get them, man,
they're yours.
It's fucking over.
Yeah. So that's why I think they need something like that, don't you think?
They do.
That'd be cool.
They have.
It's a short investment for a place like that.
So Goalie Monkey does have demo gear that you can try out, and you pay a certain amount of money to try it out, and if you like it, you actually get
that amount off.
Oh,
that's cool.
I think on it, which is cool. But for those V7s at the time, because the VEH just came out, I don't think they had the demos for them at all, because the VEH just come out. But like, it's just being a goalie is kind of tough, man. Because
woe is me.
Because you're spending so much money on the gear, and like, there's no.
But then you get to play for free.
You get to play for free, but the gear doesn't work for you. You're different though, man. You just find a way to do it. But
adapt
for me,
and overcome.
But for me,
Alpha
it's like
male.
if it's not the way I've been playing for years, if it's not comfortable for me, then I'm like, all right, I gotta switch this up. It's not what I want. And
how long do you give it before you decide that?
I let them break in. Like again, I
break in to the point where I can't return them.
Well, that's the problem, because like as a goalie, when you get new gear, you fucking hate them. Like every set of gear that I've had, like I fucking
the first
hate
week
them.
is miserable, isn't it?
It's fucking miserable trying to, and then once you break them in, you fucking love them. But it's those V7s. I was playing with them. I was sitting on them. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so you take the pad,
you fold them down,
and sit on them and stuff. And like, I fucking hated them. And they've really, that whole set's been sitting there. I tried going on sideline swap to sell it, and no one's buying it. So it's like, it's just $600 just sitting there.
Oh man, maybe I'll go blue. I mean, they're blue, right?
They're blue.
Maybe I'll go blue. I've really liked red, like my whole career, just like you, for some reason.
Yeah, red and black is my way to go. Red, black, and white's my way to, the way to go.
I had red and blue TPSs back in the day, I think.
I remember those.
Yeah, that was like the first set.
Yeah, it's all blue. I mean, you could definitely buy them off me or whatever, or I'll fucking sell them for cheap.
Yeah, maybe some listener will buy them. A little antique. Maybe we'll sign them for you.
Yeah.
Well, Matt will sign the left pad. I'll sign the right pad, and we'll sell them.
Yeah. There you go. Here's a signed pad of two.
You're going to wear them at beer league, but he's like, bro, who signed your pads?
Who the fuck is
Who does that?
Podcast? Who is this loser?
Yeah, free ad for us. Thank you very much. I have two small things to cover before we go. Right. Red Deer Rebels in the WHL. They are living in their rink during their 24-game season. They've converted all of the suites in the rink to basically apartments.
Isn't that hilarious?
That's cool, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, right. I gotta live here.
Yeah, I gotta live here. There's no privacy at all. Like, they showed the room, and there's a bed, and like everything's just open. Like, you see the rink and everything. So like,
I mean, there's obviously like a shower and probably a changing room.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure they're probably actually, probably like, maybe they just have the bathroom though, not like a shower. They have to go down to the locker room to shower.
I don't think they have a shower, because
it's
a
WHL also.
In the Garden, they have their own specific bathroom
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So I think the shower would just be
the locker room.
The locker room. Yeah.
But that's kind of cool. Like, I think this will motivate the guys. And honestly, like, help them this season, make them better players. You have nothing else to do but this.
Yeah.
They said that they have a lot of amenities for them too, like ping pong and basketball and whatever else they want to do. They have it like there, ready to go.
Right.
Like I thought it was pretty cool, honestly.
Going back to Antoine Hudobin, like how can you be late for practice when you're already at the rink?
That's right.
Yep.
You overslept. They're like, "Hey, Murphy, wake up!"
Just blow the horn.
That's hilarious, actually. No pre-practice shower for you, bud. Get on the ice. And then the last thing I want to go on a little preview for next week. Tuukka Rask tries to leave the game early. He tries to get off the ice when we're tied 2-2 with like 50 seconds left.
I don't like you saying leaving the game early. I think it's just him. I don't know what the hell that was.
Well, he thought they were down 2-1.
I think they were down 2-1, and I think he saw like a penalty or something, or trying to get pulled.
No, he literally thought the score was 2-1. They were losing.
Really?
So he was trying to get an extra attacker on the ice to go win the game. But they were tied 2-2. Imagine if they scored that empty netter. The bench is like waving their sticks, like go back, go back.
You think there's Rask haters now, man?
No
like,
shit, right?
Me trying to defend that.
Oh my god, if they scored on that, dude, Felger and Maz would have went nuts.
And I would have been sitting here just blank face, like, oh, God, you're right.
So, little sneak preview for next week with our own playing careers. Do you have anything like that happened to you where maybe like a little screw up when you're on the ice, you miscommunicated, didn't know what was happening?
Right. And back to our playing careers, too. In the Husey Saros, that same game with the E-Flex 4s, he came across to the RVH and dropped down the RVH and, like, pushed the net out, which is kind of crazy to see because in the NHL, they have, like, the L-shaped pegs that, like, really go into the ice. They're,
like, buried in the ice,
It's
I feel
like, in order to do that, you got to be strong as shit. But, like, for beer leagues, man, it's just like this random small-ass peg that holds in.
I every week before the game, I take the peg, I slam it in because I like it in there.
As hard as I can.
Right? And then it's literally like a bump that's maybe, like, for the video, that big. Yeah. But for the listeners, maybe, like, an inch.
Yeah, maybe
an inch. It's like a pointed
and a lot of the times,
thing.
it's used so much that, like, it's rounded out and it doesn't do shit at all. It just becomes a weight.
You make a little divot in the ice, and that's really it.
But that's rough. Something we can talk about next episode.
So, yeah. Oh, you don't want to get into the RVH thing?
Oh, we can talk about the RVH. So UC Saros came in with the RVH and, like, pushed it off, which I thought, one, was incredible because the strength you need just to push that off
in the NHL,
is crazy.
But in our leagues, it happens to you all the time, no?
All the time,
yeah,
man.
Me too.
All the
That's
time.
why I bury mine big time.
I try to do that too. You know what else you could do too is when you bury them in, take your water ball and spray the bottom of it.
Oh,
and
so
after
it freezes.
A little bit, it freezes up.
I'm gonna do that. That's smart. Next time I play in 2022. Dude, one thing that happened to me once. This was early in my career. Like, we're gonna talk about it next week, but I haven't played in a long time. So one of my first games, the ref. So the players entered the zone. How does it work?
You already forgot how to play?
No. It's a weird scenario, I guess. The players, so the puck goes into the zone,
right?
But the player doesn't have control. The puck goes in, and one of their guys is offsides on the offensive attacking team, right?
Right.
So the ref puts his arm up. They're offsides right now. You can't go attack the defender and try and get the puck. Yeah. The ref puts his arm up, but doesn't yell off.
No. We yell.
The ref usually yells off too. The time that I'm talking about when I'm on the ice, the ref yells nothing and his arm's up. So I'm like, oh, there's a penalty because our guys have the puck.
Let's move.
It's a delayed penalty in my eyes. So I was like, all right, I boogie to the bench, I get off, and my team's like, what are you doing? But like at the same time, they're like, no, the ref has his arm up, and the player leaves the zone, and then I'm like, his arm goes down. I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? So I had to get back out on the ice and bomb back to the net, and thankfully they broke it into our own zone and like just had like offensive pressure. But like, I was like, dude, you're not gonna say. I said something to the ref. I was like, you're not gonna say anything? Like, your arm's up. He's like, yeah, they were offsides. I'm like,
usually hear off from the refs.
He said nothing. Just put his arm up.
That's rough.
But I mean, it's partially on me for not paying attention. But that's just a sneak preview for next week and all the fuck ups that I make in my career. That's why I'm here today.
I'm partial to the blame too. I'm the one that got you into this.
What else you got? Anything? That's it, right?
Nothing, man. We covered Ron Hextall, Husey Saros, the whole thing. Varlamov, his big 30s shutout. And, we talked about Torts and that whole situation, but I think we're done.
Time to rip a shot, buddy.
Let's go.
So I think this is our last week of crap shots that I have in my freezer.
Oh,
and
thank
we're just
God.
going to be done with these and drink what we want.
Thank God.
I have Smirnoff root beer, which is actually like one of the most popular shots to buy. You did one and was like, this isn't good, right? You bought this sleeve.
No, it's funny. The first time when I first ripped it on this, I didn't like it. And then, like, I think I did it for, like, the next 2 episodes. And I'm like, oh, okay. This
It grew on you a bit?
This is the root beer that I liked, yeah. The root
Gotcha.
beer is really good. And I'm back to the last Jack Daggies.
What's that from?
Oh, my fucking God.
Baited.
I'm gonna jump over it.
Is there not one more of those in there? That's the very last one?
I think this is the last one.
All right. Awesome, dude. Way to clean up my freezer, bud. Cheers to that.
Yep. Thanks,
Let's
buddy.
go. You got it.
Oh, Jesus.
That is spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, that root beer is spicy.
Oh, Jesus. What
Says
are we
right on
doing?
it, spice root beer.
Yeah, spice. What are we going to do next week?
I'm going to go to Doctor's, I think. Dr. McGillicuddy's menthol mint.
I'm going to go to your store Saturday.
Yeah, come swing by.
And then we'll figure something
Dude, did
out.
you know that nips are, like, super popular in the Northeast, but, like, rest of the country, not really?
Yeah.
The rest of the country buys them for, like, airplanes.
Really?
Yeah, and then, like, here people, like... Because we're derelicts, I think. Just people around here are like, yeah, sleeve a nips, slam them when they get outside and throw them on the ground. But, like, all around the country, like, people have no use for these.
I think the problem is that, like, especially Boston, I don't know what New York is, but especially Boston, this is a group of fucking drunks that live here.
Yeah. Heavy drinkers.
Like, you could see it St. Patty's Day, man. Like, Southie.
Dude, they canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade again.
That's
2 years in a row. That's
nuts.
insane.
But I can't imagine what 2022 is going to be like.
God,
Can you
dude,
imagine
people
that?
are going to rip it up, dude. I
It's
can't wait.
It's already a shit show in Southie.
I can't
Already
wait.
a shit show.
I can't wait.
So,
Oh,
Jesus.
But anyways, guys, you're good, right?
I'm good.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, just let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Peace.